So, hi. I usually say good morning when I'm in classes, but now, so Mr. Young was my teacher, and and he used to like put, oh, am I okay? Sorry. Our speech on our cards, and I didn't do that tonight, but so my name is Rachel Summers. I married into the Summers family. I've been on the farm for about 17 years now. But so I didn't memorize my speech. I'm very sorry, Mr. Young. I'm going to read some, but look up at the same time. So, sorry, I don't want to center you out so much, but you made me a little nervous. So, when you picture a dairy farm, what do you picture? For some, it's red barns, cows grazing in a pasture, and milk pails being carried into little milk houses. For others, it might be shiny stainless steel equipment and tractors that practically drive themselves. The truth is, both pictures are accurate. Farms have been evolving for generations, and it's a story as much about the people as it is the cows. This is exactly how our farm started. It is exactly how our farm has changed over the years. We have been able to, Okay. We've been able to trace the Summers lineage back 7 generations. Alexander Summers was born in Ireland, 1751 to 1833. He received 600 acres of land in Crowland and Bertie Township to Thorold Township by 1806. That's where our story began. So if you guys have questions or you need me to repeat anything, just let me know. For me, the story began a little closer to home. I grew up in Thorold. I wasn't milking cows before school or driving tractors as a kid, but I could smell the fresh cut hay and manure in the summer air. My teenage years is where I experienced the rhythm of the farm. The early mornings, the steady pace of the day, and the way the cows were cared for, rain or shine. This fast-paced world wasn't new to me. My parents have always been self-employed, and a family business means everyone helps when needed. I truly believe this has set me up for success. Eventually, life took me across the lake, and we'll get to that lake in just a little bit, to now the farm I call home. Having the privilege to stand and talk to you tonight was exactly the push I needed to talk and reconnect with my elders. We lost the rock family, the glue to the aging generation last year. My husband's grandmother, Glennis. However, I staked claim over her years ago. With the kids and farm, we always seemed to have something on the go. It was nice to slow down and talk to great aunts and neighbors to gather some of our missing history. And of course, I couldn't have gathered dates without great-grandma Esther Summers' history books. So I have brought some of Grandma's history books with me tonight in case you want like specific dates, because I have no idea. There are so many of her large books like this. So this one's the Summers family history, and then she was a Ralph, so we have Ralph family history, as well as some smaller offshoot books that she had written over her time. So Esther was the official historian for Thorold Township. She even had streets named after her. Grandma's whole life was dedicated to history, and her work still lives on today. One would never dare argue with her about the past, probably because she was there, or she had documentation to back it up. Sadly, she passed in December of 2013, but her years of hard work not only passed to members of the family, but her abundance of filing cabinets and papers were donated to the Mayholm House in St. Catharines. So up here, this is not our original, but probably from the 60s sign that comes when you come in the main driveway of the farm. Some of Grandma's histories is her starting of her books. And this is the Alexander Summers was the first Summers that she traced the lineage back to. And then I'm going to show you a picture of the old, so if you look on the wall over here, that is the picture of my current homestead where I live, and that is the house in the old barn. So this is the old barn here. I'm sorry, I'm moving you back and forth. That it burned down, but this is the original old house. So.
Is that on Beaver Dams?
On Beaver Dams Road. Yeah, Beaver Dams in the 406. Yeah.
I bicycle up the canal path all the time. I've always admired that house.
Oh, can you see it from the canal path or the hydro trail?
The hydro trail.
Yeah. So part of the trail actually goes behind the property, and then you go underneath the highway.
Yeah. Yep. That's some really nice apple trees, old apple trees still on the property.
They do, yes. The apples are.
Do you harvest them?
No. Sometimes we eat some. We make applesauce. But they're very good this year.
Do you let people come onto the property and pick apples? Or?
No, there's not that many. Our dogs are kind of protective. We have beavers now, again, which, I mean, we're Beaver Dams Road, so there must have been beavers at some point. But I have planted some new trees, and I was cutting the grass the other day, and I was like, why does this look different? And the beavers have cut down my new trees and taken them away. So much for and my favorite golden apple tree they cut down too. It was quite old, so I don't know why they took it. Anyways, so this is the old barn here, and this is the house. So have you ever seen a house that reminds you of a Christmas card? If you haven't, look closely when you travel east on Beaver Dams Road. Or should I call it by its correct name, but very unfamiliar name, the Hamilton Stagecoach Road. That's my house, my home, where Summers Farm started many years ago. The house and drive shed are still there, standing, and some outbuildings as well. So if I look over here, sorry, I'm gonna walk around. This is our house, and this is the drive shed I speak of, and these outbuildings are actually still standing now, some in much better shape than others. But they're still there. So then, yeah, go for it. Go for it.
Did you buy those windows from a church?
I've
never seen peaked windows like that.
Yeah, so they're the original windows that were in the house. And when we remodeled and updated windows about 15 years ago, we had to get them custom made, obviously. So all of the upper windows are the peaked ones like this. And it took probably like 5 or 6 tries, because each window was different size, for them to come in and measure and replace. And actually, the one window in my bedroom is still not finished, because like the trim around it was, so yeah.
It is very handsome.
Yes, isn't it? It's very tall. So it's really hard to clean those windows, so don't judge me if you drive past and the top ones are dirty.
Is it a brick house or?
So it was a brick house underneath. It's red bricks, and I brought some of my bricks because I was talking at, I was working at the IPM last week, and the Brown Homestead was there. So we were talking about bricks, and I said, ooh, I got some bricks for you. So it's, original was brick, and then this is aluminum siding that's over top of it now. Yeah. Sorry. Okay, so marrying into the farm family hasn't come without challenges, but I wouldn't change it for the world. My family and I are living in the original farmhouse that Hyatt Summers, son of Alexander, bought in 1869. My kids are the 7th generation to live in the house. Just a few years after he purchased the house, Hyatt tore it down from the top story down and rebuilt on the same location using the same bricks from the original Sweezy house that was built in April 27th of 1797. It was noted in the diaries that Israel built a good dwelling house and barn. Israel Swayze, aged 34, from New Jersey, came into the province September 7th, 1787. He brought his wife and their 5 children. Israel's sister, Mary, married Silas Hopkins, a direct ancestor to the Summers. So when I teach in schools, I like to tell kids farmers were the original recyclers. One man's trash is another man's treasure. So the bricks in my house are stated to be the oldest in Welland County. Hyatt Summers used all of the old red bricks and most of the lumber to rebuild the Christmas card house. As stated in Hyatt Summers' diaries, they moved out of the house May 20th, 1887, and moved back in May of 1888. So my daughter says, it only took them a year to rebuild the house, and Dad's like still going on, 7 years of renovations? They're a little faster, I guess. So it said that Hyatt stood tall while his son Hagar did most of the work. Hyatt died of, I forgot the Hyatt sign. Sorry. Hyatt died in May of 1892, and Hagar continued on using diaries until about 1935. So it's stated in the diaries, the first mail delivery in Thorold was April 1st, 1913. Summers' first phone was April 8th, 1913. And first electricity to the house was April 1st, 1924. So, and in Grandma Summers' books, she has photocopies of the original diaries that they have. So they farmed for well over 100 years, known as Locust Hill Farms. But when Elton and Fraser, many generations later, went to register the name, they were not allowed to use it as the name was already in use and became known as Summers Farms Limited. So this is our first milking barn. I've only stepped foot in there once. It was a fast in and out. The wind blew and it made some crazy noises and I was gone. Sadly, it burned in 2012. There was some arson around the neighborhood, and a lot of the old barns were burnt in that time frame. Yeah, so it was a really still, calm night. My kids were just tiny in cribs, I think. Yeah, my son was. And we hear this stomping running up the stairs, and I was like, it was my mother-in-law saying the barn's on fire. And I was like, what? And our windows were open, but it was such a calm night that it just went straight up, and we didn't smell or see or anything. And you look out the window, and that's all you could see. So it was sad, but that was the only building that we lost that day, so it was good. So back to the lake I had to cross, walking uphill both ways. The Summers weren't new to crossing water to get to their animals. Their small body of water that you cross over Beaver Dams Road that split the barn between the house is what we call the Klondike, created in 1897. So called because it was dug during the gold rush. I didn't even know that was the name till a few years ago. It's called St. Catharines Waterworks Canal. So that's you see it all along Beaver Dams Road along the highway. But I'm sure if you ask around the neighborhood, there's lots of names. I know the Youngbloods call it the drink. So there could be different names for different people. And I just always thought it was called the Klondike. It is not. So the powerhouse opened the 25th of August, 1898. But by 1904, Hamilton needed more power and St. Catharines needed more water. So they flooded the lake, creating Lake Gibson. Hager's son, Roy, was born November 28, 1904, and his mother watched the flooding of the lake from her birthing bed, swallowing the land they pastured their animals on. Lake Gibson was created by December 8, 1904. Exciting things were on the way for the Summers house. April 1st, 1924, Light and Traction Company was to furnish Summers house for 10 years. On January 14th of 1932, they were notified by the Lincoln Electric Light and Power Company Limited that the 10-year contract would not be continued and rates would go up. This gave them 2 years notice. On April 1st in 1930, Q was bought by Hydro One. So then it changed over names. As the family grew and the brothers split, so that was the original homestead there, and then this barn and house was part of the second farm that Hager would have bought and he lived in, so that the brothers were right side by side. Hugh bought it. So as the family grew and the brothers split, they had their own milking barn, but they continued to milk 23 cows. They sold their milk to Niagara Falls Dairy for 4 cents a quart, and the milk was 8 cents wholesale. They then sold the milk back to the public for 10 cents a quart. Being smart businessmen, they decided to cut out the middleman and do it themselves. When Roy and Hugh sold milk to the public, they had to build a pasteurizing building. Hugh did the pasteurizing and Roy peddled milk door to door from 1936 to 1952. The business expanded so much that they had to add a second truck to the road and a driver, cutting into their profits. All milk is now sold to the milk board, and they decide what processor it goes to. So as we were cleaning out and renovating our house, we found some of the milk tickets that they had as a Summers Dairy. And this is one of our crates. I am not lucky enough to have one of the milk bottles, but there are some floating around the farm. I actually found a stack of these back in the old drive shed where I parked my car still, with all of the Grump's old good stuff. They say Roy Summers stuff is in the back corner and you can't dare touch it. But when I dug through it, I found some really cool stuff. My husband's like, stop bringing stuff back in the house. I made it out there for a reason. Stop bringing it back. But I keep bringing it back in. So this is the drive shed now. It's in, it's still in working condition. We actually park our cars in there at my house. And then this is the old chicken house. It is not in fantastic shape in there. I don't recommend walking inside. And the corn crib back here is still part of the original stuff. And then I have, these are from Grandma Summers' book. So this is the original barn here when it was taken. And then this one would be from, if you were standing at the barn looking towards my house, that's my house in the background. Same there. And then this one was from the house. This is she referenced it in her books would it be like the step for when they got onto the carriages? Yeah, the carriage step, there you go. So that was and that's across the water there, the old barn. So these are just pictures of these, and then I thought, well, I might as well get them off the wall and bring them. And then, whoops, here we go. So this silver barn is the next barn they built. So that one's on the property where my house is now. So as the lake water continued to rise, their beautiful working barn now would have their cows standing in water. Roy, Grimpy, was gifted some money for his troubles and decided to build the next generation of milking barns, an investment 5 times more than he was gifted. They were in their new barn December 9th, 1947. But remember, farmers are the original recyclers and love hard work. In 1958, part of the first barn was moved and put onto the back of the new barn. Cows were still being milked into a bucket that held 400 pounds. So you'd milk into the milk can, then pour it into the bucket. And then that milk was forced with air into a bigger bulk tank so they could drag that around. Keeping up with the changing times, in 1965, alley scrapers were added to the barn, lightening the workload. In the 1970s, so if I go back, here we go. So the old silos were taken down, and then they did some renovations. So in the 1970s, renovations were underway again. The old cement silos were taken down, and the new East Addition was built. I can still remember stacking hay up in that old barn, and it was so hot. My children now call it the Sportsplex. They have a whole bunch of stuff up there, hockey nets and basketball equipment, and they play up there all the time. So you must climb an old ladder attached to a wall that might even be missing a step, and then climb over an old mixer. But when you're up there, lots of fun you can have. The Summers were now milking 68 to 72 cows in their silver barn, with the addition of a pipeline to bulk tank in 1977. No more carrying milk for this family. Modernizing once again, in 92 to 93, the barn was converted into a tie stall operation, feeding a TMR, maximizing milk production. So a new way of feeding cows is total mixed ration. Everything's mixed together, then they can't pick out what they want. They get a complete diet, which maximized milk production. So I didn't put these in order, I'm sorry guys. If you look at the shop, right here by the one with the red truck, that is just east of the silos. The shop was built in 1961. There's no question there, it's written in the cement. I now refer to that as Austin's shop, my son. He has inherited the family trade of puttering and working in there on anything from bikes, cars to tractors. So he really wanted me to show you. I'll just do it quick. He dug out of one of our old Wonder buildings one of the first tractors that Summers bought, and he got it fixed up and working again. So he is quite proud of this little tractor, but it backfires a lot, so he has to wear his ear protection because he gets scared.
It's only a Ford.
Slideshow, current. Yeah. So with the expansion of new buildings and growing families, then Roy, with his sons, bought out Hughes Farm next door, just around the time one of his oldest sons was married. It came with a house, barn, milk house, and outbuildings. So that house still stands today, and it was built in 1898. So we call it Ma's house, but now our cousin Jacob's going to be moving into there. So in the late 1960s, the 406 was built, which went through the farm from north to south. Almost 40 acres of expropriated land was cut off from the cattle, going from 67 acres of pasture land. This caused expensive updating to the barn, so that's when they did the renovations and put on the new Wonder Barn. Because of this nice new road caused a lot of traffic, and it was really hard for them to get from one farm to the next. So then Fraser, decided to put in, we call the superhighway or Paws Road through the field, so we can connect the farms and not have to go on the road as much, because it's right on a bend and it's a very dangerous road. So then brings us to the new barn. So this red barn is our new barn. So the silver barn is where I was introduced to the farm. My short 4-H career started there in that barn as well. The new barn is where I became part of the family. And as I said before, family businesses means everyone pitches in when needed. 2003 started the new generation of milking systems. Lenny and Barry, grandsons to Roy and Esther, built a new facility with a completely different setup, and it's the barn we currently use today. Gone were the days of tie stalls. Cow comfort had always been on the radar, but the new barn elevated it to the next level. This freestyle system allows cows to walk around freely within their pens, eat, sleep, and do whatever they want. But 2 times a day, their job is to walk to the milking parlor, get milked, and then they get to go and live their lives. With a few tweaks and reconfiguration of penning, the barn is still currently working, milking 110 cows and raising our own replacement heifers. So the farm has continued to expand, not only in the barn, but we also have what you call a mixed operation, cropping about 1,500 acres, running the local elevator for grain, and cows keeps the family busy. Currently, we have 2 generations working the farm, with the next one not far behind. My children know the meaning of busy season, and everyone must help when needed. So when I was going over my speech with my daughter, she actually said, "So funny, it's a generational trait of child labor." And I was like, well, I do struggle with the fine line between forcing my kids to work and not, but it builds character. So everyone has to help during busy season, and it's coming to be harvest, so they'll be back in the tractors again. We have a 4-crop rotation with that produces enough feed for our cows with some extra for me to combine. I dip my toes in many things. I probably combine about half the acres, milk when needed, work in the office. Oh, and I have an off-farm job. I'm the Niagara dairy educator. So I get to travel to all the schools in the Niagara region and share our stories and connect kids with the world of agriculture. They didn't have machines, they milked by hand. I've only had to do this a few times in my life, and my hands were sore for days. Long days and hard work were their life, and we thank our ancestors for it every day. We are lucky enough to milk cows and grow crops on the same land hundreds of years later. So I did bring some of my pictures with me, if you want to go around, and then my milk tickets. And when we were going through the house as well, my husband, I don't know. In Grandma Summers' books, it stated that we were the 2nd farm to grow alfalfa in the area next to the Griffiths. They grew it first, and then we shared the seed. But as we were going through, we found this alfalfa book in our house. It's from 1907. So I took my husband's bookmark out, and he might be grumpy about it, but I have that. I have our Summers dairy crate and my bricks, and of course I have Grandma Summers books. If anyone wants to know anything specific, I don't know it, but we can look it up. And funny, I don't know, we'd have to go over it together, but it does mention, I believe it was Hyatt or Hager, had to travel to the Browns to talk about building. So I don't know, we're not that far, but we are, but maybe Morningstar Mill was the common mill, so it could be a connection. I'm not really sure, but it is stated in our book there. So this is our new milking system here. So this is a parlor system. So our cows walk into where they get milked, and we actually walk down where at udder level, and then we attach their milkers like this. Milking takes about 5 to 7 minutes now with our milk machine. They're probably in there for about 10 minutes for rotation. We milk 16 cows at a time now. And it's all hooked up. All the lines go to the basement and then travel to our bulk tank. Much easier. We don't have to carry milk cans. A few years ago, we added, we call them Slow-Bo, my kids do. This is our robot that goes around and pushes the feed. I can remember having to shovel up the feed and push it closer to the cows. So Slow-Bo goes, he's on a cycle. He probably goes 8 to 10 times a day and pushes the feed up. And it was a few Halloweens ago now. My kids thought it'd be fun to put some googly eyes on him. And so we drive around, but it really got the cows stirred up and they really licked it, so we had to take them off. And then we always wonder why we have water trough troubles, because cows, when they have free stalls, they can do whatever they want. They have a lot of free time, and sometimes they get into trouble. So then these are my son's pictures added. He cut majority of the hay this year and last year for us. I don't know how he does it. I hate cutting hay. You have to turn and look. It's awful. And these are his 2 tractors that he's pulled out and fixed up, and he drives around doing just little things around the farm. We are hopefully next week going to fill silo, course silage season. So we like to store enough feed for our cows. So we have feed all year round for them. So our silage equipment is up and ready. And then it's gonna be harvest season, and then after that we'll go into beans and corn and all that sort of stuff. So does anybody have any questions for me that I maybe could answer?
So when is the robot coming in?
When is the robot? So Jake is currently in the barn and full time, and he is looking for a robot. So 3 years ago, I want to say it was 3 years ago, our heifer shed burned. We had a barn fire, so we lost all of our bred heifers in that barn. But it was still on like the outskirts of COVID, so you really couldn't get building materials, and it was really slow. And because where we are, the highway's beside us and the Klondike, the drinking water's behind the barn, we have to make a plan of where we're going to build again. But the plan is, once we decide, we're going to build a robot barn and then probably convert our current barn to our heifer barn. So then all the cows will be in the same spot again.
Can you briefly explain the system whereby your cows are always producing milk? So obviously it's a so many month cycle before they become dry and have to start the cycle again. And as your source of income, you don't want all the cows to be dry at the same time. So how does that all work in the modern world?
Yeah, so I always say our cows need 4 things to produce milk, but so at about the age of 2, they'll have their first calf. It's all done with AI now, so we don't have a bull on site for health and safety of us and our animals. Their gestational period's the same as humans, about 9 months. So we'll milk them for 10 months, then they'll go dry for 2 months on their dry period where you don't milk them, and about the same time every year they'll start again. So it just depends on how much milk we need at that point in time, because you can only ship as much quota as you have. So we may dry off some cows a little bit early, keep some a little bit longer. So we currently can milk 110 cows, but our cows are milking really good right now. So we're only about 103 cows. So we could ramp up if we needed, if we weren't getting the milk. It took a while to get back on after the barn fire because we did lose all of our bred heifers. So there was a lull in there, but we're doing really well in genetics. They're helping, and we're getting back up now.
So if you have 103 cows milking, what would be your total number of cows that you have?
So yeah, so we're called a closed operation. So all the cows on the farm are born on the farm. So calf to heifer to cow. We have about 150 to 200 any given time buying and selling cows. Well, selling cows, we don't buy them, but yeah. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And Rachel, do the cows remain in the barn all the time?
They do. So when they first moved into this barn, there was a small pasture outside, but it was next to it was on the highway side, and the cows just didn't really like the noise. So they did build a little berm to try to quiet it down some, but they were the dry cows at that point. Now we've expanded so much that pen is milking cows, and we have to bring them across, so the pasture is closed off. But then we can control what they eat. So we know they have a proper balanced diet, and they're not getting anything outside, and like predators don't come around the barn. So they do stay inside. But the walls of the barn, are curtains. So in the summer months and hot time, so back here, these are all curtains. So they can get opened up. So then there's airflow through all sides, and each end of the barn has really big bay doors, garage doors that tractors go in and out. So there's big air movement. We have big fans, and then at a certain temperature, a sprinkler system turns on, because cows never get cold, but they get really hot. So we're more concerned in the summer to keep them cool. Yeah.
What predators would have been a problem if they were outside?
We have a lot of coyotes. Yeah. So our calves are outside in their hutches and in super hutches. So once they get big enough to move in with group penning, at about 3 months, there's 4 to 6 calves in a hutch. And we have a lot of problems, not recently, but we have with coyotes coming up into them. Yeah.
Did you say you're building a robot barn?
A robot barn.
What does that mean?
Yeah, so I could pull up one of my school presentations. So a robot is now a stationary spot in the barn. It's the same milking system, like essentially the same milking claw, but the cows come in and get milked whenever they feel. So they all wear a collar or transponder. And when they walk in, it scans them in. And when they want to be milked, they can go in whenever they want. They get a little bit of grain, but say like she gets that treat and she's like, ooh, this tastes really good. And she walks out to walk back in. If she's scanned in again, the robot would be like, you were just here. You can't have a treat. See you again. And so the farmer can set it to however many times they want each cow to go in.
So Rachel, by robot, you mean that the milking machine automatically attaches?
Automatically attaches it itself. Yeah, let me see. I have, so it used to be done with cameras. The robots were, when they first came out, they were cameras, and they were finding that they was getting manure and splatter on it, and it wasn't as great lining up, and each cow's udder is not always exactly the same. So they now are done with like a laser, and they're having better success. But let's see. Is there anyone who has a question while I'm pulling this up? I can probably find something for you.
You may have said it, but I was
Yeah.
gonna do a couple of things. But so now, how many cows on average was when your grandma was on the farm? How many?
So
was the difference between?
when they were selling milk and peddling milk, they were milking 23, and we're at 110 now. So I think.
Do you have the ability to buy more quota?
So
It costs-
quota is available when it's available on a monthly thing. Like you all have to bid into it and see if you can get it. We currently our farm is currently at a cap where we got where would that be under dairy farming? Where we got like reassessed, so you had to like look at your licensing, and between it's probably right with everybody, but farmers aren't great at like filling out paperwork and all that sort of stuff. So when Elton and Fraser bought the farm and incorporated into Summers Farms Limited, the quota they just assumed changed over, but it's still in Elton and Fraser's name, and Pa died in 2000. So it's not like he can sign a paper saying like, hey, I sold it to my sons. So it's like a paper thing right now. But yeah, you can buy more quota. It's on the market, open market, and I believe it's currently 24,000 a kilogram to buy. So yeah, you can slowly build up.
And is there some kind of rule of thumb at 24 a kilogram or 24,000 a kilogram?
24,000 per kilogram to buy. So you can.
An idea of how long it would take you to recoup that cost before you make a profit?
I am not the person for that.
Okay, no,
I'm sorry. I can find it out and get back to you.
Just that idea. You're not going to make that back in a year or whatever.
No, but I mean, we're still doing it, so we're making money. I can't find it. Somewhere I have, I'll find it after for you, a video of of the robot milker, but it is pretty cool. So you could just look it up. And so now it's done with laser. So when they walk in, it lines it all up. So it cleans it, it strips it, and then they're more efficient because the robots milk per quarter. So there's 4 sections of a cow. So each milking piece will milk itself. So you'll get more milk out of it that way. Back to the robot question. Yes.
Sorry, I have another question.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you said the cows just kind of going on their own, so is there like a point where like a cow just feels uncomfortable and is like, I gotta get in there?
Yeah. I explained it to the kids, like, when you have to go to the bathroom really bad and your stomach's full. So like they'll get really full and they'll start to leak a little bit and then they'll know like it's really full and it's uncomfortable, and then they'll go to get milked. So the milking in the robots, they can go whenever they feel like it. If we're late to milking, they'll tell us, because a quiet barn is a happy barn. So if you walk into a barn and it's really loud, you know something's up, and probably because you're late for the milking. Yeah.
Who did you say was originally from Ireland?
Alexander Summers was the first one.
Do you know what part of Ireland?
We can look in the book.
That'd be curious.
Yeah. No, I don't, but it'll be in the book. We have all the family trees. You're probably better than tracing it than I was, but it's a lot of information. Yeah. Anything else? Yeah.
Relative to other family operations in Niagara, how big are you? Are you in the top tier, or middle tier, lower tier?
So we're probably in the middle. This end of Niagara, there's only 3 or 4 dairy farms left on this side. Like up that way is more farm country. We're the biggest down here, but up that way they're bigger farms.
Are most of the dairy operations sort of family or family business operations?
Yes.
Are there any sort of just a client?
They're all pretty much family-owned operations, yeah.
How long does a cow milk for?
So a cow's lifespan can be about like 8 to 12 years. I've heard some that are older. I was working at the Royal talking to one of the farmers there, and he said he had a cow in his barn that was 17 years old, still milking and lactation. Ours tend to be a little bit on the younger side because of the freestyle operation. So I think our oldest in our barn right now might be 10. So she would have had 8 lactation, so 8 babies.
Where do they go after?
So a lot of them will go to this sale, and then some of them that are still fine to be milked will other farms, because I have seen like, a Summers Farms with our prefects got, so they get scored every year, like an excellent or something. So I know that they're milking on other farms, or like I said, farmers are the original recyclers. So 100% of that cow will be used. If she can't catch or something, she'll go into for meat production. But it'll go, pardon?
What breed are the cows?
Oh, all of ours are Holsteins. So Holsteins are the largest, most popular breed of dairy cows. They produce the most milk. Ours are probably producing about 40 to 43 liters per day on average, each of our cows. But there are 6 different breeds of dairy cows.
Are they always Holsteins on your family?
Our family farmer's always been Holsteins. We have one right now. What is her name? Meadow? Yeah. Meadow. She is a red and white Holstein. So she's still a Holstein, but she's like a brown cow. So we had her mother, and she was the first cow in like 6 generations that ever was bought on the farm, because Jake is my husband's cousin, and they've been trying to breed for a red and white Holstein for years, and he just couldn't do it. So he bought one from Rick Alders. And she was not a fantastic cow because she was spoiled rotten. Every time someone went into the barn, you would pet her or scratch her. So then and you can never make a cow do anything they don't want to do, but you could not make her move because she just wanted scratches. And she wasn't a great milk producer. So she was shipped, but her daughter is still on the farm now. So we have one red and white Holstein.
So you use all Holstein AI?
Yes.
You don't breed any to beef?
We are now breeding like the bottom end of the herd to beef, because it's cheaper. We had a really cute calf the other day, and I so wanted to keep it, but we only keep dairy cows, but it was all black with a little white tip on its tail. But we work with a local farmer in Stevensville, and she takes all of our beef cow, like bulls that are born. Anything else? Yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay.
You were mentioning that before you could set your own price for milk, and then now it's done by like an organization. Is that something that like the farmers wanted to happen?
Yeah, so this year actually celebrated 60 years of the milk board. So it's all put on, so we don't overproduce milk, we only produce as much as we need, and it keeps a steady price.
Okay.
So some people are conflicted in which way they like, but it's working out well for us.
So you must have a lot of generators because of all this automation, if there's a power failure.
So we have a generator at the one main post that comes in the barn, and we have to hook it up to a PTO on the tractor. So if the power goes out, and we had to get special from the hydro company because there's a switch to flip in case whatever. So the main farm and the houses up there get power because that's where the cows are, because cows always come first. My house doesn't get power, but that one generator is hooked up so that we can still milk and keep the milk cool and all of that when the power goes out. So I get the messages from the power company saying like, hey, your power's out. Then I mad text everyone and say, put the generator on. Wow. But yeah, we always have a backup.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's always been Holstein cows?
Yes.
Where did the cows originally come from? Were they bought locally?
So they would have brought them with them, I'm assuming. So Holsteins are from the Netherlands. So
they would have brought them over when they came over?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so.
And those original cows are still like their descendants, right?
Yeah. Any other, yeah.
Is it possible to see the first slide that you had?
Yeah.
That was showing, is that the house when it was brick?
Let's see. Yeah, so I don't know exactly when the siding went on. So this, oh, it's not switching over. Current slide.
I was interested.
Technical
in the first slide,
difficulties.
because it talked about Ellers and Love, I think, on there, and I did the land registry course here
Okay.
last year.
You wanna help me?
And my house says it was originally 1828 Summers.
Oh,
So that's why I was just interested what was on the first slide.
oh, I just had the wrong thing up.
I think sometimes it's weird and you have to like switch it over.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah.
So, oh, like the first page of this one?
Yeah, slide.
Can you go to slide 3? Oh, it's not even,
No, I just gotta try and figure out from here.
sorry, the mouse is only on there, not on here. It's all in the book too, but yeah.
No. Oh,
Oh, there you go.
just let me know when you want me to.
This one. Oh,
This one?
back. There we go. I don't know, that's a Grandma Summers book question. Yeah.
Your preferred veterinarian service, or how does that all?
So we use Dunville Veterinarian System, the Dunville vet. So there's not very many large herd vets around. So they do majority of the large herds and dairy cows. So our herd health day is every 2 weeks, so twice a month. So Monday's our vet day. They'll come and they check all the cows, ultrasound, do anything we need, and then they're on call 24/7. But because we are so far and we have a really good connection with our vet, we keep a lot of the medicines on hand. If we have a cow that's down or something, we'll call John and be like, what can we do? And he'll just tell us a prescription over the phone. And then if he has to come down, if not, we can just do it ourselves.
So it's telehealth.
Pretty much. John's on call 24/7. Yep.
What would be the major couple of conditions of mastitis? What else?
So we don't have a lot of mastitis, fortunately, on our farm. It's really great. We bed with sand, so it's really, for cow comfort and for mastitis, it's pretty clean. So they buy about 2 truckloads of sand every week to add to the barn. Clean, double wash sand is really nice. So that keeps the mastitis down. And because we physically are touching those cows twice a day and we get to put eyes on them, mastitis isn't a big problem on ours. Sometimes, because our herd health is so frequent, we don't have a lot of big issues. The last time we had an emergency vet visit was a calf was stuck and we just couldn't pull her, so we had to call the vet for that one. But if we have to call the vet, it's a bad day. We like to do as much on farm as possible. So even in the medicine pen now, the guys have riggings and rope systems, so if they have to fix like a cow's stomach, if there's bloat or anything, they can do it themselves.
Because you're so close to water, ministry environments and everything.
Yep.
Issues.
So they come out all the time. We have regular checks. The region comes out and everyone checks the water. They sample it. It has not been, we do all the things we need, but it hasn't been a whole big issue yet. Building the new barn and getting a building plan might be a little bit of the issue. So there is talk that maybe up Cotmire Road, because that's all of our land up that way, towards Highway 20, maybe moving the new barn up that way, but all of the infrastructure is already at the home farm, so then you have to move everything. So that's why we haven't built. And
those are settling ponds?
Yeah, so we have 4 settling ponds. So we are a flush system in our barn. So this one's mostly solids, and then because it's with sands, right? So we have to dig these out. This 4th one is basically just water, dirty water, but we recycle that and flush the barn, the alleys where the cows go to the bathroom, gets recycled out through that way. So we always reuse. All of our wash water for in the parlor and stuff is new in the cistern, but we recycle the water that way. So then at least once a year, sometimes twice a year, we bought a new excavator, and it's much bigger and longer stick so we can dig it out better. We dig out these lagoons, and it's sand, and they get spread right on the immediate fields as close as possible, so it's quickest. And then our liquid manure goes out whenever it's fit, multiple times a year.
Goes out where?
To the fields.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then up Cotmire Road, we have dug a new, it's like a backup pit in case we can't get in the fields, because the water is right behind us. If we can't get into the fields, we can move. We have a second storage site for manure if needed. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah. You make me nervous too, Mr. Sickens.
It's a thought.
Okay.
Like, a lot of times you go to a show or somewhere and they give you squeeze, a little cow for a squeeze.
Yeah, like
to
this.
stress,
Yep.
to relieve stress. Farmers years ago, before it had pipeline and they had to do hand milking, were less stressed. Less stress because they hand milk, so they're constantly squeezing.
Yeah.
Now you don't have to.
Or were they just too busy so they couldn't stress?
Now they give you a little plastic cow to squeeze or a ball to squeeze.
Yeah.
To relieve stress.
So everyone should get a cow to hand milk? Is that what I'm hearing? I don't know.
It's a thought. Like,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. So last summer we had very little help in the barn, and my daughter and I had to step up. She loved it, right, Madison? So my daughter's here. But my hands were so sore because we do strip the cow. So the first step is we squeeze a little bit of milk out of each of the udders, just our first visual cue to make sure it's good. So you had to do that 4 times 110, right? Because each cow. My hands were so sore, and my husband's like, go get one of those grip strength things and do it. He did the calculations, whatever, so many times and build up your strength. And I was like, or we could just hire someone. But so it is a thing. And if you notice, people that work with their hands are just bigger and more muscular, and mine are a little small. And I need a stool because I'm not quite tall enough, so I always have a stool in the barn as well. Yeah. Anything else? No? Okay, thank you. I'll leave this stuff here if you want to look around and see, and like my book and my bricks, because there was another girl who was very excited for the bricks, and yeah.
I'd like to thank you for your marvelous presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Young. He was my teacher.
Very personable, knowledgeable, and you can answer the question just like that, so it's all there.
Oh, thank you. It was the older dates that I was stumbling over, but I'm like, once I get to now, I got it.
It is Bill at this decade, okay?
Oh, no, it's not. It's still Mr. Young. Yeah. Yeah.
Before the meeting started, you said you were doing passing it on generation.
Yes. Succession planning.
Yes, so you didn't touch on that.
That's a touchy subject.
Yeah. Because all farmers will have to go through it to pass it on to the next generation.
Yeah.
So.
I'm pretty lucky, and this is being recorded, so I have to be careful, but my father-in-law knows he's going to pass. He understands that. You know, like some stubborn farmers are like, I'm never going to die. I got it all. He knows he's going to pass someday, so it is a work in progress. But because we are kind of like a split generation, so my husband and I, then his cousin, who's 10 years younger than us, are coming in, and then my kids are only 10 years younger than him. So it's kind of that step between thing. So hopefully will continue.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people that aren't farmers don't realize the work that has to go through to pass it on to the next generation.
It's a lot. And we always say we don't want to buy the land twice. So we're trying to figure it out. Like, they bought the land hundreds of years ago, but I don't want to make my kids buy the land from us. So let's work out some sort of system that we can continue on and farm if they want to. So it's there.
Not like a city person that owns a house. They sell the house and
Yeah.
they're gone.
Yeah. It's hard. And a lot of our land is green belted. So you can't develop on it. I mean, I'm sure that will change in the next, maybe not my lifetime, but my children's. But So we're lucky that way too. And we're kind of landlocked between a highway and a lake, so not much development's gonna come through at this point in time. So, but yes, succession planning is a big thing in farms. Yeah. Yeah.
Why is there a difference, or why are they legislating that you just can't will it, pass it on to the next generation? Why is there this?
You can, it's just, it comes with a cost.
And also you've got cousins,
Yes.
so you've got to work out for each generation.
And then we have members of the family, like, so my husband's uncle has 2 children. His daughter is off at university. She has probably no interest coming back to the farm. So how do we incorporate her in it? His son wants to milk. My daughter wants to be an optometrist. So she's probably, I was like, what about a vet? That'd be fantastic. So she might not stick around, but my son might. So it's just that fare is not always equal. How are you going to make everybody happy? And when you have a big operation, a big family, it's just like any family. When someone passes or something, people come out and fight, and yeah. But that's
So have you got computer quiz kids coming up if you're going to have a robot farm?
My kids hate coding. So in school, it's all coding now, and they say they do not like it.
Yeah.
But
we've got friends who've got 11 robots, and they're always up there at midnight because there's something going wrong.
yeah, yeah. So I have heard 11 robots. That's a lot of robots.
1,000 at least.
Yeah. So I have heard a couple farms, not many, that actually switched back from robots to parlors because they were like, they just couldn't grasp it all. And the upkeep on robots was just so much.
They don't go on holiday though, and they don't need hired.
Yeah, right? So they're always, it takes away that labor source, but you just have to manage in a different way.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This was wonderful. Thanks for taking the time and sharing with us. And thank you to everyone for coming out. We can enjoy your book.
Yes.
And chat a little bit more.
Absolutely.
But I'll also just mention the next talk is on October 9th. Thursday, same time, 7, with Hugh Fraser. He'll be talking about 50 years of technological changes on Ontario farms. So,
Very interesting.
yeah, thank you.
Thank you.